We're good. Before I start, I want to say thank you to Raina for these decorations. They're so beautiful. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So I'd like to open the meeting, call the meeting to order. If we could have a roll call, please.
Councilmember Edwards.
Present.
Councilmember Higley.
Here.
Councilmember Kelly. Here. Vice Mayor Harrod.
Here.
Mayor Mitchell.
Here. Thank you. And if you could join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So thank you for that. And before we begin our meeting this evening, we'd like to pause to acknowledge the horrible shootings that have occurred over the weekend. And our hearts are with the victims and their families and all those affected. But we also recognize that tragedies like this not only impact the communities directly involved, but they also impact the city of Healdsburg community. And so we'd like to just take a moment of silence to remember those who've been affected. Okay, thank you for that. So now, if we could get approval of the agenda?
Move to approve the agenda.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Report on closed sessions. We did not have a closed session. We do not have any announcements and presentations. Right? And city manager reports.
Thank you, Mayor. I do have a few updates. First off, just want to acknowledge, I think just a half an hour ago or so, we came to the conclusion, I think, of a very busy series of events in Healdsburg over the last few weeks. So I expect the council will report out on that later, and I won't try to steal anybody's thunder, but I just do want to offer appreciation for the people who worked on a number of really great community events. Recently, Mary Healdsburg was wonderful. We had, in addition, we had a senior appreciation luncheon, which was wonderful as always. I think both of those were as well attended and well run as I've seen before. And then, as if the holiday celebrations weren't enough, we've had two really big milestones lately, one of which was the groundbreaking for the affordable housing project at 155 Dry Creek. You all have spent a lot of time thinking about and working on that project. You've all heard before how complicated the funding was to make that project go. It's a tough piece of land with constraints. We combined farm worker housing funding, permanent supportive funding, a bond issuance, city contributions, of course, and just really neat to see that get going. And one thing we know from these affordable housing projects is they have deadlines once they get started. So pretty neat to see not just a ceremonial groundbreaking, but a project that's really moving right now, and we'll see it change a lot. And then obviously earlier tonight, the culmination of the Foley Family Community Pavilion. So that's a great milestone as well, and a really neat thing for us to celebrate. I did have a couple of project updates as well. One of those is a reminder related to Foley. Just wanted to let you all know and remind you that we had a call for artists running through our Arts Commission to add a signature piece of art to that facility. So while we're wrapping up construction, there may be a creative piece that comes later. Well, there will be a creative piece that comes later. And we got 65, I think was the final tally of artist submissions. So great to see, not surprising maybe, but great to see that much interest. And the Arts Commission will be working on sorting through, those are artists' submissions, and once they can whittle that down, they'll ask a short list of artists to prepare proposals for the art itself. So that'll be fun to watch, lots of interest, and ultimately that will come to all of you, hopefully with a thoughtful, I'm sure, with a thoughtful and thoroughly researched recommendation from the commission. So something to look for. And one other new information about one of our projects is that I'm very happy to share that the March Avenue repaving and reconstruction went out to bid late last week. So design is done. We are out to bid for construction. The goal has been to get that thing ready once the rain stops. We will be opening bids late January. So you all know how that goes. Think good thoughts for a competitive bidding environment and costs to come back. But our expectation is that we'll keep this thing moving and be under construction early in 26. So we know that's been, again, something that this council's really had to wrestle with to figure out how we were going to put the funding together. And you all did that, and we're excited to get that out to bid. So hopefully when we see you next, we'll have another update on that one. And then lastly, I wanted to wrap up with an introduction. I'm happy to share that this council supported and funded the creation of a new position, a public information and community engagement officer. I'm very happy that Ray Holly is starting with us today. So first day. And I just want to welcome Ray. We've talked a lot about communications. We understand that the demands of that role have just grown and grown and grown. So I think it makes sense to have a dedicated person. I also want to highlight the community engagement in that title. It's a lot of words, but we think that's an important component. And we know that's something that Ray's really excited to work on is just helping us as an organization keep getting better at how we share information with the community and receive information from the community. So I don't know if Ray needs much of an introduction in this town. I think he is well known and well respected, but I will just share he comes to us from a communications lead role with the Sonoma County Library. And before that has spent many years in a few different roles, but most notably running the local paper here in Healdsburg. So he is somebody who knows Healdsburg very, very well, loves Healdsburg very much, and I know it's just going to be a great asset to our organization. So we're excited to welcome Ray. And with that, I am happy to take any questions.
Thank you and welcome, Ray. It's great to have you here for sure. Does the council have questions for the city manager? Yes, David.
Yeah, a couple things. That's great. We have 65, what'd you say, 65 artists that submitted. I was a little concerned that a subcommittee was formed to kind of filter through those. For me personally, we have such a diverse arts and culture commission, from performers to artists to architects to, the whole range, that I would hope that it doesn't get filtered down by, well, I'm an expert or they're an expert. Part of having that diversity on that commission for me is to see those different, have the different submissions come through. And so I'm hoping that either way, that's reflected in what ultimately ends up with us. Cause I really want to look at, I'm not really looking for 3 experts to weigh in on, all right, these are the ones we're going to elevate. I really want the input from the entire commission. So I just wanted to share that. And then I'm really glad that Ray is starting. I think I saw the city's post about the Dry Creek Commons, and there were a lot of comments in there that I think, could use a little kind of, a lot of the questions were surrounding like, what's even affordable anymore? How do you define it? Which are very easy things that can be communicated out to the public, whether it's in that forum or a separate post that says, here's how the affordable housing units work and the qualification and the income levels. Because there's definitely a gap in understanding. And, there was somebody had posted something from, something that we had a couple years ago. So that's the kind of thing that I'm looking forward to, just having a little bit more of being able to respond and, kind of hear the questions and be able to either put out a new statement or respond to those. So welcome, Ray. Got a lot of work for you.
Got your work cut out for you, I think. Anybody else? No. Thank you, city manager. So now we turn to public comment on items on the consent calendar and non-agenda items. This time is set aside to receive comments from public regarding matters of general interest not on the agenda, but related to city council business. Pursuant to the Brown Act, however, the city council cannot consider any issues or take action on any requests during this comment period. So anyone like to make a comment? Please come to the podium. Okay, not seeing, not seeing anyone come up. We'll close public comment and move on to a motion to approve the consent calendar.
So moved.
Second.
Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Edwards.
Yes.
Councilmember Higley.
Yes.
Councilmember Kelly.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Harrod.
Yes.
Mayor Mitchell.
Yes. Okay, so moving right along, public hearings, we do not have any tonight. Old business, fiscal year 2025-26 council goals update, Assistant City Manager April Mitz.
Great. Thank you very much. So tonight we are doing just that. We are just giving you an update on what progress we've made on our city council goals for this current fiscal year. Next slide. So a little bit of background for anybody who's new to this process of setting goals. The city council does adopt their goals annually, and each new goal cycle begins July 1st with the new fiscal year. As far as the goals that we're currently working on right now, City Council did have a goal-setting workshop on April 18th. It was open to the public and it was facilitated by MRG. And then following that meeting on June 2nd, City Council did formally adopt the goals that we're reviewing tonight. Next slide. So tonight, it is receive a presentation on the status of the City Council goals for fiscal year 26. There's no action items tonight, and there's nothing that we need direction on. It's just to provide an informational update. Next slide. So we'll start out with just a basic question on why set goals. So goals are used to determine and drive the direction that city staff heads as we are navigating through our day in and day out duties here. It also aligns and commits resources. So when the goals are adopted, it gives us instructions on where do we put some of our fiscal resources as well as our human capital resources. It also allows us to monitor and communicate our progress. And so that's what we're doing tonight. And then also allows us to celebrate accomplishments, which we're also doing tonight as well as City Manager Kay said during his opening remarks. He stole a lot of my thunder for some of the project updates that I had. Next slide. So the strategic direction. So we do have a 5-year strategic plan that City Council set and that ran from 2020 to 2025. Part of that strategic plan did outline 7 strategic goals, which are in the center part of the slide. And then from those goals, from the strategic goals, we then get our city council goals. During the workshop that we did this past year, City Council did discuss whether they wanted to re-examine those 7 strategic goals. At that point, it was decided not to re-examine them. So we're still looking and using those same 7 strategic goals. And then out of the City Council workshop, we ended up having 44 individual projects that all fall under one of those 7 goals. Next slide. So the City Council goals in the active city project list, so a lot of times people ask, how is this list created? It isn't something that staff just makes up and decides to work with. There is a lot of collaboration. And so in the current fiscal year that we're working at, in order to establish the goals, first looked at City Council goals for the previous year. We removed anything that was completed or near completed. And then what was added to the list was 3 different categories. So some of the categories are projects that were added by the City Council. So let's say we had our goal setting, council adopted the goals, and then maybe some other project came up. And so the council provided direction to staff to work on it. So those were added to the goals. We also added any goals that were emerging opportunities or evolving community or organization needs. Sometimes those come up periodically throughout the year. We also added goals for new requirements and regulations by outside organizations. So when we review some of the goals on the very high level, you'll see a lot of it is state legislation that we have to wrap up into the goals. And then last but certainly not least was council member proposals. Council members were asked by MRG what are some things that they would like to bring forward for a city council goal. During the workshop, city council discussed that, did a straw vote on which goals they thought they should move forward with as a city council. And then that's what helped form the goals that we're currently working under. And I always do want to make a note that this does not include day-to-day operations and a lot of back office projects. So what you see on this list is not all that we are working on. So there is a lot of things that the city staff is working on. Next slide. So I'm not going to read through this, but I just wanted to show you a snapshot of what our goals look like. So this is what we're calling the dashboard for the fiscal year 26 work plan that we're currently operating under. Across the top, you'll see the 7 strategic goals, and underneath the strategic goals are the specific work plan or fiscal year 26 goals that we are working on right now. Next slide. So here is just a very, very high-level overview of where we're at in our overall status. We have completed 6 of our goals that we had for this fiscal year. And so we've done that with less than 6 months into the fiscal year. In addition to completing those 6 items, we did have 4 additional items that are completed and or they're ongoing items. So certain items we might complete it in this current fiscal year, but it's something that's going to add perpetually to this city staff's regular operations. So we kind of try to make note of that in the report. We have 18 items that are in progress, but we estimate to complete that by the end of this fiscal year, so by June 30th, 2026. We have 11 items that are in progress, but they're multi-year projects spanning out as far as fiscal year 28, or actually fiscal year 29, my apologies. And then we have 6 items that have not been started yet. And I do want to note you see a couple asterisks on there. In the staff report and the original attachment 1, the summary, I inadvertently left out the police and fire facilities assessments and plans. So I wanted to make a note of that. That has since been updated. Raina was updating that on the website for us. So that is why you'll see a little different number between what's on this chart and what you actually saw in your staff report. And then for items that aren't started, the 6 items, that does include the ASR wells, which was not actually a city project. It wasn't a city goal, but it is something that we definitely want to provide you an update with tonight. So those are included in these numbers as well. Next slide. So now we're going to dive a little bit deeper, but I am not going to talk about all 44 items because I'm sure we don't want to be here that late at night. But attached to the staff report is attachment 1. There's detailed descriptions on where we're at in each one of these goals. Tonight, I'm really only going to be discussing the ones that we put a little star by and just give you 1 or 2 sentences for each of those that we just want to highlight. And then on the left-hand side, you'll see what percentage we're at on that, or whether we've completed it or if it's an ongoing. So the first item I want to talk about is the housing element land use code updates. So this falls into the category of goals that we added because of legislative requirements on our part. So the housing element update, it essentially brings the city's municipal code into compliance with recent legislation. There are 2 different parts to that. The first part of it, City Council, thank you, you just adopted it. Tonight, it was the second reading, and that was regarding accessory dwelling units, or ADUs, and also the density bonus. That's the first phase. The second phase is going to be coming back to City Council probably for a first reading in February, and then final adoption in March. And that has to do with lot splits. So you'll be seeing some more legislation come in front of you in the next couple months. The next item that I want to talk about, which is a very exciting project, is the station area specific plan. So as many of you are aware, the city has received a $1.13 million planning grant, and it's specifically to plan for the increased housing, employment, and also multimodal connectivity down within a half a mile of the proposed smart station on the south entry point of town. So that is something that's going to be coming your way in a very exciting project. But again, this is one of those multi-year projects. We anticipate the planning itself is going to take about 3 years, and we will have a lot of community engagement with that plan. We currently have an RFP out right now for consultant services. We're anticipating by December 31st that we'll have an estimated selection of the consultant team. And then the anticipated project launch will be early 2026. And then we're looking with an estimated completion of the plan. So not the development itself, just the plan by December of 2028. So again, that's one of those things similar to a lot of the other projects that we have around here that you start early and it takes many years to actually get for something to come to fruition. The next item I just want to touch base on is hosting meetings on economic trends. So this was a council goal, and we do have a date set for that economic forum, which is going to be April 22nd, and it's going to be held at the Lodge just north of us off of Grove Street. Staff has been working with Dr. Eiler, who's a local economist out of Sonoma State, very familiar with a lot of the economic interest here in Sonoma as well as Napa Valleys. So he is helping us form some of the context behind this economic forum. He is going to be serving as our keynote speaker that day. We're also looking at having a panel with a facilitated discussion and some time for question and answer at the end of it. We're looking at a short time frame, probably about a 2 to 3 hour event that we're looking at. The conceptual idea that we have for the forum that we have been talking with Dr. Eiler about is just looking at what is happening in the local economy, highlighting economic diversity beyond wine and tourism, and then also exploring and identifying opportunities for growth and then also barriers to progress that might ultimately lead to maybe some new policy considerations for the City Council. Next slide. Environmental stewardship. So 2 things I want to highlight in this area. The first is the update to the tree ordinance, the protection and lists, and you'll see we are at 0%. We have not made much headway with this particular goal, and we wanted to just make you aware of that. The city did apply for a grant as part of the climate mobilization strategy, and a portion of the work did include work to update the tree ordinance. Unfortunately, we did not receive the funding for that, so that set us back a little bit. Minimal time has been dedicated so far to this project. Staff, in talking with community development, does anticipate starting this effort as soon as the housing land use goals are completed. So a lot of that has to do with the 2 that you adopted tonight, and then the 2 that are coming in February and March of 2026. The project may be delayed further, just depending on workload of staff. If we have a lot of projects that are coming through our community development department, obviously things like that are sometimes out of our control, so that might delay the project a little. The anticipated activities is to update the tree protection ordinance and then also review the current tree list and then make recommendations to City Council. So that's what we are anticipating to do, and we are hoping we can get that done by the end of this fiscal year, but we will definitely keep you posted on that. The next item is a renewable energy procurement plan. Again, this is one that we only have about 10% complete on it. It does fulfill 2 of the climate mobilization strategy goals. And ultimately, the energy procurement plan outlines a way for the city to be able to meet the projected energy forecast demands. And if you recall, that report was brought to City Council a few months ago. This project was a little delayed with the change, the shifting and getting a new electric utility director. But now that we have Director Carpenter on board, he is well aware of this project and working on it. And we do anticipate a resource plan recommendation to come to City Council by the end of this fiscal year, so by June 30th. Next slide. So moving over to the affordable housing realm, I won't touch on, actually, no, these are all good ones. I think our city manager might have touched on some of the other items on this report. So the first thing that we want to touch base is on the inclusionary housing ordinance update. So that is something that we did complete. It was adopted by council on December 1st. And it was updated. It updated the in lieu fees for smaller projects to decrease some of the cost barriers. So we're hoping that's going to be a little bit helpful for a push for some of the smaller developers to actually add some of these new housing sites to Healdsburg. The next one I want to touch base is supporting permit progress for Saggio Hills and 155 Dry Creek. We're about 60% complete on this. For Saggio Hills, there are 4 different phases involved. We're currently phase 1, we're under construction. I did just drop, after we did the groundbreaking at Dry Creek, I drove up there just to check out the progress because I heard there was a lot of good things happening up there, and I was pleasantly surprised and shocked to see how quickly those buildings have got up. So that was very exciting to see for phase 1. Phase 2, we have the permits in hand right now and we're reviewing, and we're looking at estimate start time for construction this May, so May 2026. So we're moving right along in that progress, or that part of the project. Phase 3 and phase 4, we're estimating that phase 3 permits will be submitted in May of 2027, and then phase 4 in May of 2028. So again, that's one of those multi-year projects, 4 phases, but we are seeing a lot of things happening up in that project. For Dry Creek Commons, or the 155 Dry Creek, it is currently under construction. And as City Manager Kay mentioned earlier, we did do an official groundbreaking ceremony last week, which was also very exciting to see, especially during the ceremony when you had big trucks moving back and forth during the ceremony. So we got some good action shots. The last one I want to touch base on under affordable housing here is complete renovations of Victory Studios and apartments. So the council did award this contract on November 17th of this year. They are anticipating construction is going to be done by March 31st of fiscal year, or March 31st of 2026. So it is a very, very quick turnaround, about 4 months. And some of the work includes renovation of exterior balconies and finishes, installation of new heat pumps for all of the units, lighting upgrades, fire sprinklers and alarm system rehabilitation, as well as a range of interior and other exterior improvements. So it's exciting to see this one move along as well. Next slide. So for infrastructure and facilities, Public Works, Larry and his team have been very, very busy in this area. I'm only going to touch on a few on this particular slide. The first is the active transportation implementation. And so this consists of low construction cost project to repurpose parking on Front Street. To date, we don't have a lot of progress on this, but Public Works will be putting some time aside to explore various options. And so assuming that priorities remain unchanged and there's no unforeseen issues arise, we estimate bringing something back to City Council by April of 2026 for council direction and decision on this particular project. The next item we want to talk about is the complete March Avenue pavement rehab and enhanced crossing. So this project itself will reconstruct the pavement and make pedestrian improvements. While this does state only 25% complete, it is very exciting. This project is going to move pretty fast. We're estimating construction is going to start in February of 2026 and be completed by October of 2026. So while we're showing 25%, in about 10 months, this project should be completed, which is a very exciting project. Next slide. So we want to move on to some more infrastructure and facilities. For the water division, we have the Dry Creek well field, the construction drawings. I listed various on here because if you do look at the attachment, there's 3 different components to this. The first component is a crypto treatment, which is 100% complete. If you want details on that, I'm definitely going to turn it over to Patrick and he can answer all your questions on crypto treatment. The booster pump, which is the pumping capacity improvement design, is 90% complete. We do anticipate work to be started on that in fiscal year 27, which it sounds far away, but that actually fiscal year 27 starts in about 7 months. So it's going to come fast. For field improvements, we have a 10% complete for the design, and work is slated to begin in fiscal year 29. So that's one of those multi-year projects. The next item I want to touch base on is the ASR wells, or the Aquifer Storage and Recovery wells. And so this is the item that's not on the City Council goal list. It initially was. It's a $14 million fund project. We did have BRIC funding, and BRIC is Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities grant that's done through FEMA. We did have funding for this. However, funding was canceled for the BRIC program. And so when we heard that funding was canceled for the BRIC program, that's when we took this off of the official City Council goal list. But we did state that staff would continue to try to find alternate ways to fund this program. So finding alternate ways to fund the program in September of 2025, the city did apply for an HMPG grant through Cal OES. It is anticipated that Cal OES will submit this grant to FEMA in April of 2026. However, if it takes a little bit of time for FEMA to review these, we anticipate award for this round of grants would be 2 to 4 years from grant submittal. So it is not a quick process. If we are awarded, and again, we are not guaranteed that we're going to get that grant. If we're awarded the grant, the implementation is 3 years with a 4-year grant period. So under this funding mechanism, we're looking anywhere from 5 to 8 years for this particular project under this funding mechanism. So at least that is in the works. We did have a slight plot twist with the BRIC funding, if you have not heard. Last week, a federal judge issued a ruling ordering the administration restore the BRIC funding. So we don't quite know what this is going to look like yet. We don't know if it's going to be all the funding that was originally slated, if that's going to be restored. It's just too new. We don't know what is going to happen with this, but it was a slight plot twist, I think, as of Friday. So we're definitely keeping our eye on this. But in the meantime, we do have the HMPG grant application in, and we will obviously go with whatever funding is available to us and that we can get the quickest. But I wanted to give you a quick update on the ASR well project. And then the last item under this category I wanted to talk about is the evaluate and implement flood monitoring technology. We don't have any progress on this particular item. This project plans locations for stream gauges, canopies, and rain gauges to better track and predict flooding within the Healdsburg area. We did apply for funding for this particular project. However, we were unsuccessful in that funding. Staff will continue to look for funding for this project. However, without outside funding, the project will not move forward. So we wanted to provide you an update there. Next slide, please. Effective governance. So the first one I want to touch base on this is to enhance city communication and outreach to build public trust. Right now, for what we want to accomplish in this fiscal year, we're about 25%. This is also going to be one of those ongoing communication items. So once we finish what we're going to do in fiscal year 26, we know we're going to have ongoing efforts. As our city manager pointed out today, the first portion of this was that City Council did authorize the new Public Information and Community Engagement Officer position, which we mentioned is Ray's here with us tonight, day number 1. So we're very excited about that. The attachment to the staff report lists several things that were already in progress, but we have about a 4-pager that we've been working. We gave to Ray today of things that we want to start working on and accomplishing in the first 6 months. But just a really quick overview is one of the things that we do want to work on is the internal processes, which include finalizing brand guidelines, our communications handbook, social media policy, social media templates. So a lot of those things are internal documents that we use to guide every department for what's getting out there to make sure that we're using consistent messaging and that we're getting the messaging out to all the proper channels. So we're excited for that to continue and to go through. The other thing I want to talk about is the constituent request system. We are behind on this project. We have not made much headway on it, about 20%. So far, staff has been reviewing various options and then pricing of a some type of constituent platform to bring back to City Council for consideration. So it's something that we do have on our minds. It is on our project list, but we are behind on this project. Next slide. Public health and safety. So there's 2 pertaining to the fire department that I just wanted to give an overview tonight. So we're about 30% of rolling out our wildfire mitigation program, and these are our parcel-to-parcel inspections. Where we're at right now is we do have a software platform, and we are working on customizing and building out that software. And then we will start training on the software as soon as we hire our new fire inspector. So that position has been open. It was closed. We actually conducted some interviews today on that. So we're looking forward to whoever we do select for that particular position. As soon as they come on board, we're going to start the training. And so that way we can start doing the parcel-to-parcel inspections. The other item in the fire department that I want to highlight is the city open space wildfire management plan. Again, this is something we've completed it for fiscal year 26, but it's just going to be part of our ongoing operations. As many of you recall, in October and November of this past year, we did vegetation management and fuel reduction and work with CAL FIRE. We had a successful prescriptive burns of 60 acres for Fitch Mountain open space, and then also the Villa Commons, and then we had multiple pile burns. So it's something that we were excited to do, a lot of work that had been needing to be done for a while, and it was a very, very successful season that we had. So thank you to our fire department for that. Next slide. So going into police, about 50% done with a police recruitment and retention initiative. And so this is something that is going to be ongoing. Myself, Chief Jenkins, as well as our HR officer, we've been meeting to try to develop a structured, comprehensive program to attract and retain some top talent. It is very difficult to recruit for policing right now, and I know we've had numerous conversations. We are going to have ongoing efforts to recruit, but just to give council and the public an overview of kind of where we're at, a snapshot of what our current situation is. So we do have 11 authorized patrol officers. This is not sworn officers, this is just patrol. So it does not include our sergeants, lieutenants, and our chief. And I will look at our chief to correct me if I say something incorrect. So we have 11 authorized positions. As of right now, we have 3 vacancies or 2 vacancies. So we have 3 vacancies right now. We have 1 officer that's on light duty. We have 1 officer that's on leave, just intermittent leave. When we have 1 officer just starting their field training. So essentially this leaves 5 officers that are cleared for solo duty out of 11 positions. So that's why it is so important that we keep this in the forefront of our minds and make sure that we do recruit and retain these employees, because once we lose somebody and we have a vacancy, it is a very, very long process to be able to get somebody hired through the academy, through their field training, and actually be part of a solo officer. So that's some of the difficulties that our officers and our chief are facing right now. And I just wanted to give you a highlight of where we're at. Luckily with our dispatch, as of right now, we're fully staffed, but dispatch, we typically run into the same issues as soon as vacancies start coming up. The other thing that I just wanted to, is there's an asterisk on it, I won't talk about a little too much. It's the police and fire facilities assessments and plans. Again, that was the item I inadvertently left off and just wanted to make a note of it here tonight. Next slide. So community services, they have been very, very busy lately, especially during this holiday season. We've seen a lot of activities, but I want to talk a little bit about the implementing of the Arts and Culture Master Plan. You'll see it says various on here. If you look at the detailed report, there are a lot of items that Director Themig as well as our Arts and Culture Commission are working on. In particular, these are just highlights of a few of them, is incorporating artistic components for the Foley Family Community Pavilion, which we talked a little bit about earlier, as well as in the Laura Fish Summersall Park. They're also developing branding identity for the arts in Healdsburg. They're looking at the percent for arts program development, which council just talked about at the last meeting, and also an arts education program. So they are moving, it's a new commission, and they have a lot on their work plate, and they're moving forward with a lot of different initiatives. The other thing that I wanted to touch base on is supporting Latino community and immigration issues. This is an ongoing effort for us. It's something that is part of our day-to-day operations. It is always in the forefront of our minds. Summer 2025, as many recall, we did send out a mailer to all Healdsburg residents titled Healdsburg, a Safe Place for Everyone, which provided local resources and rights. We continue to work in partnership with Corazon Healdsburg on getting information out. A lot of what Ray will be working on is also making sure that we are engaging the Latino group in the conversations. And we're committed to continuing to support the Latino community in our outreach and education. Next slide. So community services, this is what I want to end with tonight. Again, they are very, very, very busy. A lot of activities. They all deserve a nice break after this holiday season. But I do want to talk a little bit about the prioritize the creation of an inclusive magical bridge playground. We're about 25% right now. As you're aware, in September of 2025, we did have a MOU with the Magical Bridge Foundation, which we had a First Amendment at the last council meeting, which approved fundraising framework. In fall of 2025, the Magical Bridge Foundation launched their fundraising campaign, and a feasibility study and fundraising efforts are currently underway. So it's a very large, exciting project. I know they're out there in the community, and we want to make sure the community is aware that when you hear about Magical Bridge, take a few minutes to stop and listen and hear what this great project is about. Again, this is a very high-level overview of about half of the projects. There is a lot going on in the community, but we at least wanted to provide and highlight some very specific items. So next slide. So again, there's no council action tonight. It's a receive and file for informational purposes. We're not seeking any direction. Just wanted to make you aware of it. And last slide is I'm available to answer any questions. We have our directors here that are available to answer any questions. And even beyond this council meeting, feel free to reach out to me and I can answer any questions and or direct you to the right department head. So thank you.
Thank you. You guys haven't really been working very hard this year, huh? That's an amazing list. Does council have questions about this? Chris?
Yeah. Couple quick things. I think. Well, what's the price tag on the flood monitor equipment that you're having trouble funding?
I do not know. Patrick or Larry? Director Zimmer can answer that question.
I don't remember the exact number. It's something we certainly could piecemeal. When I say the exact number in the grant that we applied for. Anything that we could get as far as stream gauge monitoring or even cameras would certainly assist us when we have heavy flooding events. There's a lot of phone calls and can you go out and look at this? And we don't have any stormwater funding available because we have enough work to do fixing the things that we have. So we're going to keep trying. But sorry, I don't have an exact number. Following the meeting, I could send you a sample of that grant application.
Okay, yeah, it'd be nice just to have a reminder on the rough amount of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm not having it.
The other thing, I guess more of a comment. You didn't mention it, though I don't doubt that it's a concern for everybody. But under the city communication and outreach, there's a lot of people in the community still kind of confused and piecing together what the districts are, what they mean, what the election's going to be. So I hope that's a priority for the team at the beginning of the year. Thanks.
Questions? No? No more questions. Okay, so we'll open this up to public comment. If anybody would like to make a comment on this item, please come forward to the podium. Not seeing anyone come forward, we'll close public comment. And thank you for that report. And we have received and I'm filing it now. Thank you. Okay, so now we move on to new business, appointments of council members to various boards and commissions for 2026. Clerk Allen.
Yes, that's me. Good evening. As the mayor stated, the motion this evening is to assign council member appointments to various boards and commissions. The next few slides are the table that was provided in the packet of all the boards and commissions this evening for you guys to go over. Or if you don't want to change positions and you're going to keep them the same, you can do that as well. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys have.
Great, thank you. I think it would be worthwhile to just go one by one here and people can confirm whether or not they want to stay on that. I mean, I know priorities change, people's jobs, responsibilities change, all the things that you're dealing with. So maybe you'll want to get on or off some of these boards. So, and that's okay. So let's go from there. So the first one we have is the Healdsburg Library Advisory Board. Vice Mayor Harrod is the representative. Ron Edwards is the alternate. Do you want to keep it that way? Good? Okay. Next, Senior Advisory Commission, Councilmember Edwards, rep. Vice Mayor Harrod, alternate. Okay. So we'll look at these together then. The Northern California Power Agency and CPA and Transmission Agency of Northern California Tank. Councilmember Hagley is the commissioner, Vice Mayor Harrod is the alternate on both of these committees. I'm assuming you want to stay that way. Yeah. Yes. Okay, good. Mayors and Council Members Association, City Selection Committee, and Council Members Association Board of Directors. That is typically the mayor and vice mayor. So will to be determined, but it's still going to be the mayor and vice mayor, right? Association of Bay Area Governments, we have Vice Mayor Harrod as the delegate and Councilmember Edwards as the alternate. Yes? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You guys are just switching everything off here. And then Sonoma County Transportation and Climate Authority, SCTCA, Councilmember Kelly is the rep and Councilmember Edwards is the alternate. Do we want to keep it that way? Yeah, okay. Chamber of Commerce Board, Vice Mayor Harrod, rep, Mayor Mitchell, alternate. I would like to suggest that we switch those. I'd like to be the rep.
Fine with me.
Is that okay with
Yes.
you? Okay. One change there. Marie Sparks, Volunteer of the Year Committee, that's the mayor usually. So we'll wait to see what that is. League of California Cities General Assembly, Mayor Mitchell delegate, Councilmember Edwards alternate. Anybody want to? There was no action on this year at all. So this is an easy committee to be on. Okay, we'll keep it that way then. Mayors and Council Members Legislative Committee, Councilmember Edwards, rep, Vice Mayor Harrod, alternate. Is that good? Okay. And then the Marin, Sonoma, Mosquito, and Vector Control District citizen, Sean McCaffrey, has been appointed for 4 years. So his term does not expire until the end of 2026. So he's still good with that. Sonoma County Waste Management Agency Public Works Director Zimmer, representative, and Mayor Mitchell, alternate. And I did check with Larry earlier, and he said that was good. Yeah. Okay,
Mayor
great.
Mitchell, I'd be interested in serving on behalf of the city in that role, should there be an interest in having a council member do it. We're the only city that has a staff member as a delegate. So I know Director Zimmer is doing a great job, but I also know he's got a lot on his plate. So just offering that I'd be interested in doing zero waste if it's possible.
You know, my experience when I was the representative is that a lot of the information that goes through there, really, I just have to come back to Larry and ask about because they're like ongoing city projects. So personally, I think it's better to keep Larry there. Maybe you would want to be the alternate?
Sure.
Okay. And then, moving right along, the Healdsburg High School Scholarship Committee. This is usually the mayor and the vice mayor, right? So,
And it's a fun one.
and it's,
That's
I've been on it
incredible.
from, a few years now. If some of you can't do that, whenever that gets figured out, I'd love to fill in too. Keep me in mind. Russian River Watershed Association, Councilmember Edwards, rep, Vice Mayor Harrod, alternate, and Public Works Director, alternate. So we have 2 alternates for that. Yeah, okay. Northern Sonoma County Air Pollution Control District Board of Directors, Councilmember Kelly, rep, Vice Mayor Harrod, alternate. Okay. Yeah. Healdsburg Tourism Improvement District, Mayor Mitchell, rep. I'd like to keep that. Northwest Public Power Association, Councilmember Hagley. Does this go along with the NCPA, basically? Yeah, okay. Do you need an alternate for that?
I don't think so on this one. I mean, I'll
You,
jump in.
if you had to, okay, okay, good.
Chris has gone to quite a few of the meetings, so he's pretty up to
Okay.
speed, so that's good.
Awesome. Parks and Rec Commission Liaison. So Mayor Mitchell is rep, Vice Mayor Harrod alternate. We'd like to switch those.
That'd be great.
If someone else wants to be the alternate, that's fine too, but no? Okay, so you'll be the rep. You'd like to alternate? Okay, okay.
Great.
Perfect. And then the Arts and Culture Commission, Councilmember Kelly is the rep. We don't have an alternate on that one. Do we need one? Did it work out okay this year?
It does work out okay. They meet on a Wednesday at 6 p.m. So occasionally I think I've asked you and Vice Mayor and Mayor to step in when I wasn't available. So having an alternate would be helpful. And also if there's somebody who's very interested in being this liaison, I'm totally open to rotating.
Okay. Is anybody interested in that?
I'd be happy to be the alternate.
Okay. And you,
The alternate or the liaison?
The alternate.
Oh,
and you keep Councilmember Kelly as the rep? Okay.
You'd like to continue to be the rep?
I just said that I'm totally open if someone else is like very interested in doing it, that I'd be happy to rotate and become the alternate or whatever, but I'm happy to stay as well. So
Okay.
thanks.
That's all I have on this list. Is that it? So,
That is it.
okay, so we need to open this up to public comment though?
Yes.
So if anybody would like to comment on these committees and so on, please come forward. Not seeing anyone come forward. I'll close public comment. And do we need a motion to approve these?
Yes, please. But
Decisions?
before we do that, Mayor, may I just confirm the changes?
Yes.
For myself? Councilmember Kelly is now the alternate for the Sonoma County Waste Management Agency, Zero Waste Sonoma. We added Vice Mayor Harrod as an alternate to the Northwest Public Power Association. Councilmember Edwards is the alternate for Parks and Rec. And then Vice Mayor Harrod is the alternate for Arts and Culture. Does that sound?
And I'm going to be the main for the Chamber of Commerce liaison and Vice Mayor Harrod alternate.
Yes, thank you. I got
Okay.
that one as well.
I think that's it. Do we miss anything?
You covered the Parks Commission, right? I'll be the liaison there.
Yes.
Okay.
Parks and Rec, Vice Mayor Harrod is now the representative, excuse me, and Councilmember Edwards is the alternate.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Okay. So could I have a motion?
I move that we approve the appointments to council members to the various boards and commissions per our discussion and agreement and what the city clerk has just mentioned.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. So now we move on to the really fun part.
But before we do that, we've got a little something here for our outgoing mayor.
Oh, wonderful.
And so I just want to say a few words, if we can make this small addition to the agenda.
Yeah.
And I'll hand this over to you now. But Evelyn, you've been a fantastic mayor. I want to thank you for your principled leadership, your firmness when we've needed you to be, when things were challenging here and at City Hall. It was always good to know that you always had your hand on the rudder, and we could always count on you to have things move smoothly when otherwise they might not have. And that takes a lot of skill, a lot of insight and professionalism. And I think the result of that has been a really productive year. And so I want to thank you for your service as mayor. And I know that I've learned a lot from you, and I really appreciate your term.
Thank you. I'm very touched by that. I appreciate the comments. Okay.
can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead and this is the fun part.
Great meetings, truly, and have kept us on track and on agenda. And we've had some challenging ones, some fun ones, and everything in between. So thank you very much. It's an honor to get to serve alongside you. And I want to align myself with all of the sentiments of Vice Mayor Harrod, and just really grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Hagley.
Yeah, kind of repeating a little bit or agreeing with everything that was said here already. But first of all, I'm really happy that you were able to do this in person instead of just on Zoom. Because last time you were mayor, you took over in the middle of the year. And we were in COVID, and I think it was the meeting that we were going to come in here that then suddenly things changed. And so I'm just really happy that you were able to experience the ribbon cuttings and some of the fun things that go along. That said, we had a lot of challenges this year, challenging discussions and everything, and I appreciate how you navigated us through those challenging discussions. I felt my voice was heard. May not have gotten everybody to agree with my voice at times, but I did feel like my position or my opinions were heard. Not just by you, but my fellow council members, and I appreciate that. And so I just wanted to thank you as well for a great year serving the city. And thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to thank you for taking us where no Healdsburg mayor has been before through districting. It was a very the very first one. There will be many to come, but you know, to really get this going for the first time was really nice the way you navigated through that, and just really have been open to me, and helping us all be a better council to really work and focus on the city and to actually see some of the projects that you started on actually break ground, some of the affordable housing projects and so forth. So it was very nice to work with you under you, Mayor Mitchell.
Thank you so much. You know, it's been an honor to do this, and I am pleased that I was able to do it not on Zoom. I don't think we did anything on Zoom this year, so that's good. I do feel like we've accomplished a lot. The districting, the groundbreakings, the Dry Creek Commons, the Sajo Hills, Foley Foundation. Plus, I don't know how many proclamations we did this year, but there were a lot. So I was going to ask Raina to count them up for me, but I didn't. I thought that would be rude, so I chose not to. Yeah. So we did that, and it's just been really a fun year. I've also been able to do a lot of like public speaking at different events. I got invited to the second and third graders at the Healdsburg Elementary, which I've mentioned before, but I have now twice been approached by the students that were at these things. And I mean, it's so heartwarming. They were so excited and thankful and wanted, wanted to tell me that. And so that was really a unique experience for me. I don't have kids. I'm not really a kid person. So this really was a fun thing for me to do and to experience. But also I got to do like the Design Healdsburg. I got to, welcome them, a little speech for that. They're coming back next year. They're going to have more days. It's going to be a big deal for the city of Healdsburg. So just, so many things. And working with you guys is, our council, we often get complimented on the level that we work together, our professionalism, the fact that we don't always agree with each other, which is a good thing, I think, at some level, right? Keeps us on our toes. And so, thank you. I'll stop there because we need to go on to the next step here. But before we do, I want to open this up to public comment first. And then, so if anybody would like to comment, please come forward. Pardon me? Oh, the agenda item is, Councilmember Higley's reminding me to tell you, the agenda item is the selection of mayor and vice mayor for 2026. Do we have anyone who would like to speak on this topic? Not seen anyone. I'll bring it back and we entertain.
I would like to make a motion to someone who I've seen grow in this council, really be a good voice for this city, who has a lot of history. Actually remembered who made the menorah for us. So I'll learn a lot from him. And I would like to nominate Vice Mayor Chris Herod for mayor.
I would like to second that, and I would like to nominate Councilmember Edwards to serve as vice mayor in 2026, if you are willing to accept that.
And Vice Mayor Herod, are you willing to accept that nomination?
I am. Thank you.
Okay. So
I seconded
did
that.
we get a second?
Technically, I have to second the amending motion that Councilmember Hagley made to the first motion that was Councilmember Edwards' initial motion for mayor. So Councilmember Edwards, do you accept Councilmember Hagley's amending motion to expand your motion to include you as the vice mayor?
Yes, I do.
So I second the motion made by Councilmember Hagley.
This is a good thing we have an attorney on.
The original motion was Councilmember Edwards nominating Vice Mayor Herod for mayor, and then Councilmember Hagley seconded the original motion and then added Councilmember Edwards as vice mayor, and I seconded that motion.
So it sounds like Councilmember Edwards accepted the friendly amendment
Yes.
made by Councilmember Kelly. And so the motion on the floor now is to nominate Vice Mayor Herod for mayor and nominate Councilmember Edwards for vice mayor, right?
Yes.
And so we're okay to vote on this one now, right? So could we have a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Edwards,
Yes.
Councilmember Hagley,
Yes.
Councilmember Kelly,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Herod,
Yes.
Mayor Mitchell.
Yes. Congratulations and thank you.
Well, I just want to say thank you. I really am humbled and honored to become Healdsburg's mayor. I love this town deeply, and I look forward to being able to help a little bit more if that's the opportunity that's going to come to me. But I just want to say I respect all of you very much. And I just want to promise to you that I'm going to support and maintain the productivity, the collaborative spirit, and the integrity of this council. I think that those qualities really define us, and I appreciate the opportunity to continue on in the work that we're doing. So thank you very much.
Councilmember Edwards?
Yeah, I'm really humbled to do this. When I came to council 3 years ago, it was a partial term. I had filled a life of working, and I wasn't sure how being in the political life would work with my family. And it's been great with my family. And I have really enjoyed learning and serving with this council. I mean, you guys are the best in the county to work with, to see how we tackle big issues. We are collaborative. We make sure that we fully go through it and do our best to make sure that the public understands what we're doing. I don't think we do very many things to where it's just quick. I mean, I think all of us want to make sure that the public knows what we're thinking, how we came to the process of how we made our vote. And those are things that I'm glad to be part of, because getting the public to understand, it's a hard thing. And luckily we have some help now to do that. And it's really been humbling to be in this position, and I want to continue to serve and my community here. So thank you very much.
Congratulations. I think you both are going to do a great job, and I'm looking forward to working with you next year. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so now we move on to our final item tonight, council reports on matters of interest occurring since previous regular meeting and expense report reimbursements. Who wants to start us off? We all went to a lot of things. So
We did a lot of things.
Ron.
I think I looked, there were only 2 days there wasn't something we didn't do since the last meeting. To start out with, we had Good Morning Healdsburg on the 4th, which was very productive, meeting on that, getting caught up. And of course we had,
Are those meetings still on Zoom?
yes, they're still on Zoom. We had a very great Merry Healdsburg last Friday. The weather was fantastic. The turnout was great. We were all there. And then on Sunday, again, we were all at the Villa to help to serve for our seniors. And it was a really nice event up there. And then we had, let's see here, the last Saturday up at the community center for Corazon, their, let's see, Noce de Paz toy giveaway. There were about 250 people there that turned out. It was an amazing turnout, great tacos, great pozole to really warm us up on that cold evening. And then we all were across the street earlier for the Foley Center. So.
Vice Mayor, you want to go?
Yeah, my pronunciation's okay. Noche de Paz was really heartwarming, wonderful event. I'm glad I attended. It was a great meeting of neighbors and a fantastic thing. One of the many fantastic things that Corazon does for us as a community. The Hanukkah lighting was uplifting and poignant and difficult because of the tragedy in Australia this year, but it was really wonderful to see everybody come together and show support for each other and celebrate Hanukkah last night. We did the Dry Creek Commons, Mary Healdsburg. I don't need to embellish on that too much, but it was a blast. Senior appreciation dinner, always just one of the funnest, most beautiful things that happens in the city, and it's such a great tradition, 42 years now. And then I attended the Chamber Commerce Board meeting and also their roundtable event, which included people from the real estate community. And once again, those have been really successful in terms, at least personally, learning about these different sectors of our economy. And once again, there was a really enlightening conversation there. And I was also at the Good Morning Healdsburg.
All right. Councilmember Kelly?
Sure. So attended a lot of those same events, but unfortunately wasn't able to be at the groundbreaking ceremony. So great to hear that it went well. I was down in Imperial Beach for the Coastal Commission. And we had a really fascinating hearing down there, both talking about the beach closures that have taken place over the past decade, right south of San Diego, but in the San Diego area because of the sewage crisis that's happening from the Tijuana River. And so it's pretty shocking to know that right here in California, we have one of the largest environmental hazards happening in a California community. And really just, it's a devastating situation. A lot of people in that community having health problems because of it, young people with respiratory issues. And then we also voted on the Diablo Canyon nuclear power plant project for them to continue operating and doing a huge conservation easement deal with Pacific Gas and Electric for that site. So it's up to the legislature to decide what they want to do about the future of nuclear, but I have a feeling it is not the last we'll be hearing about that nuclear power plant. And then back for so many of those fun community events, I got asked to be the auctioneer for the Rotary Crab Feed event, which was a hoot. And we raised a lot of money for amazing scholarships in the community. So that was a lot of fun. And then celebrating Hanukkah with you all. I can't thank you enough for all being there last night in the plaza under the gazebo with our community's Hanukkah and celebrating the first night of Hanukkah. It was very meaningful for our community to have the entire council present. So thank you so much for being there. And just delighted to get to cut the ribbon at the Foley Pavilion today and to see, I feel like we're right on the cusp of seeing how many great, amazing community gatherings are going to take place right across the street, and really excited that we were able to bring it, I think, really close to the finish line. It's hard to say how soon it will be done, but it's close enough, right? So thank you all.
Thank you for that, Councilmember Haley.
A couple things that I attended in addition to the things mentioned here was I was in Roseville for the NCPA's Legislative and Regulatory Affairs Commission meeting on Wednesday afternoon, and then on Thursday morning I had an executive committee followed by NCPA commission meeting. So it was a lot of time in Roseville. I'm sorry, what? Oh yeah, and then attended the Sonoma County Tourism meeting, and just looking at the numbers and compared to the rest of Sonoma County, the hotel numbers for Healdsburg are actually better. I mean, we can always be better, but it was nice to see that. And there are a lot of communities in Sonoma County that are really suffering from lack of tourism and the hotel stays. So I'm grateful for the visitors that do come here and decide to spend time here and spend their money here in our town to support our community. You know, we have great community events. And then I wanted to mention on the Hanukkah thing, it was great to be there. I appreciated seeing so many of our community members there. The one thing I'll say is I did miss the music and the singing. that we didn't have from the past couple of years. So anyway, it was a very nice community event, and you could feel the warmth of just being there. And I feel like I felt that, and it was nice. So that's all I had, and I'm really excited to, to future Mayor Herod and future Vice Mayor Edwards to support you and do what I can to keep moving the city of Healdsburg moving forward.
Yes, so I don't really have a lot to add. I was at most of the things everybody's mentioned. One thing I did do was some Cal Cities online Zoom education. I think Ron did too. One was about the new laws affecting the cities in the state of California, and the other one was about the new Brown Act regulations, which was interesting. They started the Brown Act, I guess, with like this much, 3 paragraphs or something, and now it's like 100 pages. And even the people who gave the presentation said, we don't really know what that means. We're not really sure how that's going to work. So good luck to us. But fortunately, we don't have to follow those because we are not within the demographics, right? So, but someday we may, so we need to be careful. Anyway, that was interesting. So, and with that, I really think this is going to be the meeting. I know you had one that was like 7:23 or something on your last meeting.
It takes the cake.
And here we are. I'm going to adjourn the meeting at 7:10.